Gentlemen, welcome to Aces of Thunder World War I. This is something I've been extremely excited about ever since I flew the War Thunder Great War event over April Fools for over 24 hours in VR on War Thunder. And here we have the fully flushed out version with 4 different aircraft, all fighters. So of course we have 2 Central Powers aircraft, or German aircraft rather. You got the Fokker DR1, which is the triplane, and the Fokker D7, which just has a beautiful camouflage. Whoever made that, kudos to you. It looks really well done. It's the inline engine. It looks sick when it's shooting flames right out the side there. You also have the Entente aircraft, so the one from the Great War event is the SPAD. Very maneuverable, but sort of underpowered aircraft. And you have the Sopwith Camel, which is almost the exact opposite of the description that I just said of the SPAD. It is very heavy in the nose section, but generally pretty enjoyable. Now, customization, this has kind of been a point just because of the famous flying circus, but these aircraft only have 1 camouflage per. Those might change. They might be adding some in the future. I just want to put that out there before we start. And I'm going to be focusing on the multiplayer first and then going into the World War I single player right after. So I'm just going to show you quickly what an online battle of World War I in Aces of Thunder looks like. So we load into this beautiful map. We actually got quite lucky for the recording since it's a pretty clear day. Pretty nice day. So you get a set of default belts, tracer belts, or stealth belts. So there's nothing to unlock, or universal rather. My personal hint would be to take the universal belts on a lot of these. Whenever you see the blue tip, that means it's going to be an incendiary, which is usually the best for trying to get kills. So I'm going to take the triplane since we have not really seen that one yet. And we can see that this is mostly going to be an operation, but also an air domination. So whoever wins this match in Flanders is going to be who takes this point and has the most people in it. It's pretty simple capture the point type of game mode. So here's what the aircraft look like when you get in. For the triplane, you actually have the speed indicator way out there on the left. I have mine in knots. You have the fuel percentage in front of you. I still think that's quite high. It says 43 minutes, so our aircraft are quite heavy, and these matches usually only last about 18 to 20 minutes. Unlike the World War II aircraft, at least in the beta, we don't have the specific knee pad that tells us where the battlefield is, but usually you can look around and sort of see the tracers and barrage balloons to get the general idea. So we are going to grab the throttle and grab the stick, which are actually connected in this plane, or you can grab the throttle over here, and we are going to push this forward. And as we're going down, we'll be able to lift off closer to 40. Yep, okay. We actually stayed on a little bit longer, and I'm going to keep that engine pinned at 100% almost the entire time. There's very little reason to pull back on the throttle in these aircraft unless you're trying to get people to overshoot. And if you're curious where the battlefield is, you can also see the alpha objective just through your HUD here. That'll help you keep track of who's capturing the battlefield and who's not. If you guys did check out my World War I video over that Great War event, you can see that this is actually the same map that we flew for that event, except very heavily modified. So the field colors have been changed, the map has been extended down that way with barrage balloons added everywhere, and a pretty large no man's land with machine guns placed throughout. And man, does it look amazing. As we're approaching the battlefield, you can see the flak going off, you can see the downed airship over there, the general lack of all shrubbery, and very clearly the front line extending all the way past the river. So something of note is that these barrage balloons are here for aircraft to get entangled with the wires, so be careful when flying around that you don't hit those because they will take off your wing. But if you don't want them on the battlefield, you can take care of them yourself, even if they're friendly. You don't lose any points for that. The World War I stuff is in fact isolated from the World War II aircraft, if you were curious, so that leaves a pretty good niche for these aircraft, and a very fun one at that. We're gonna go after this SPAD down here and then pull back up with all of our energy. Got some hits on them. You really want to preserve energy as long as possible with these aircraft because everything seems to be an energy fight. A very close fought, visceral energy fight. You'll see exactly what I mean. Fighting the Sopwith. I heard we got something. Did you hear that audio cue? Felt like we would have hit the pilot, but I'm not seeing him. Oh, there he is. That's why you take the universal belts right there. We just saved our triplane, buddy. Oh, and he hops out. Beautiful. We'll roll underneath. We should have him here with our ultra lift. Yep, right ruddering. Beautiful. Oh, those two hit each other. Yeah, so we do lose energy and altitude quite quickly because we create a lot of drag with this plane. But if you're just trying to cash in your energy and speed for turn rate, you can do it the most effectively. Oh my gosh, guys, take the universal. Holy cow. That was like 2 rounds into him. This is an amazing VR experience. It is just as good, if not better, than the Great War event because you don't have to worry about stuff from the ground. Especially when we get actual players in here, dude. This is going to feel so competitive, but also really, really cool. I think people who are used to some other Oculus games and IL-2 are really going to want these flare guns and stuff to work, but as a flight sim purist, I don't know how I feel about it. We're really making short work of these guys. Sopwith over here. The sound design is also really well done. We get flat here, get flat, we should have a shot. Oh, we couldn't hold it long enough. Nose down, we'll get some speed, and then we'll go into the maneuver. Gotta be careful not to turn too tightly with these aircraft, or you're gonna collide with the ground. Some shots in a good spot, too. If you get any rounds into the engine of these aircraft, they really do bleed energy and airspeed very quickly. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Dude, I can't wait until players are actually filling these servers. Oh my gosh. Oh, buddy just disintegrated. He's going in with the plane. Oh, that's a bad day. And you can, if you want, strafe some of these ground forces. I think we have eliminated all of the enemy aircraft, though. Normally, you would get 2 lives per aircraft, so if I have the Fokker DR1 and the D7, then I can each respawn with that 2 times. But because these are the bots that I'm fighting right now, just because this is the closed beta and there's not many online players, the bots only respawn once. Gonna take Universal with the Sopwith here, too. We're just gonna see this from the other side. Some other perspective and a slightly different time of day. The aircraft are doing a little dancey dance. So with the Sopwith, you have a little bit worse visibility to your right, above you, and to your left, but you do get this neat little cutout, which helps when you're trying to pull aircraft into the HUD, if you would like to use some modern terminology, increasing throttle percentage. If you are curious, hold on. This aircraft takes off really, really fast. Yeah, look at that. That's insane. If you are curious, the guns do not jam. They can overheat, but overheating and these specific levers here, which are there to clear jams, don't really correlate. So there's no reason to use these levers in this game, which is why they're not actually active and are, in fact, unusable. Speed gauge is down here on the Sopwith. If you're curious how that works, it runs off of that little secondary propeller. Not really a propeller, but the fan right next to me. That actually feeds a few of the instruments here, including the altitude, I believe. This is one of the only World War I aircraft in here that actually has an altitude gauge. We also have this cool gun sight, which gives us a very, very clear sight picture. It's actually really cool how that looks. It's amazing they got that picture-in-picture to look that good. Someone let me know if that's a realistic magnification. I'd say it looks pretty dang decent. My only beef with the Sopwith is that it only has the rear sight post if you're not wanting to use a telescopic sight. Like, they could very easily flip this sight up right here. I think there should be one. So you kind of just gotta eyeball it off the tracers, but it is what it is. You can see as the sun starts to set, you can really get an appreciation for all of the tracers that are going on and the ground battle that's occurring. It looks fantastic. I get why they're filling all of the machine guns with tracers just for the aura. I don't know if they necessarily need to, but dang does it look good. I'll show you what a custom battle actually looks like at night here right after this, and you can see how ridiculous it is. It's literally like Star Wars. Approaching the battlefield with our wingman. You know, he's warming up his tires like it's an F1 race or something. Fly nice and steady, brother. They're not going to shoot you yet. You can see the entire enemy force right up there, up ahead. If this were an actual online match, I'd probably be climbing up to the left or climbing up to the right just a little bit. We're going to start rolling once these green tracers start coming up after me. See a triplane, 2 DR7s, and a 3rd triplane. Then we're going to go underneath with some speed. But you hear that? The aircraft did start to die. Oh, this would be bad if I missed this. Oh, I got some rounds. I don't know if that counts as not missing. That should be enough rounds to bring him down. Disengaging. 6 o'clock is looking clear. We've got some energy. We've got some speed. So we're going to climb up here to the side. What's up, buddy? There's quite a lot of rudder firing that happens with this. Oh, gosh. Okay. Confirm the wing actually goes through and they're destroyed. That's nice, or we would have been missing ours as well. Triplane. Bleeding too much now. Minced him pretty solid. Come here. If we fill him with enough lead, he'll be too heavy, and he'll have to fall out of the sky. Unfortunately, with these canvas aircraft, which is mostly what all of these World War I aircraft were, gonna force him to overshoot. You hit the wings and stuff, it mostly doesn't do anything. You really gotta hit that center line. And honestly, we're aiming for the pilot. We are really aiming for the pilot. Yeah, okay, I think his engine's already dead. I don't want to lose too much energy in this fight. We're gonna try to find a different one. Another triplane. Oh, firing too low. Onto this gun. Oh, come on! Oh, I think the engine died from negative fuel pressure. It means there wasn't enough fuel being injected into the engine. Whew. Yeah, I don't know how the pilot's still alive in that, to be honest. I wonder if it's impossible to kill the pilot. It was like that in the Great War event. I gotta say, the only thing I'm missing here is the ability to kill some Zeppelins. The Zeppelin combat was very, very enjoyable. You also don't get an ammo count in these aircraft right now, so I don't know how much ammunition I have left. Oh, that should be enough. That's his elevator. He's gonna need that. Come on, go down, or I'm gonna put you down. Yeah, I saw multiple rounds go right through his head, so I don't know if he was dead in that thing. And that is the entire enemy force down. 6 kills. This is so fun. Even with just AI, this is honestly really fun. Like, this is something I would look forward to after work. I would come back and I would play it just like I am right now. It's honestly really, really fun, dude. In review, a few days after this initial recording, I still stand with those points. World War I, I actually think, is the area of Aces of Thunder that has the most potential, not just because it has the least amount of competition when compared to like something like a War Thunder or War Thunder Sim for those who are interested in more of the simulator battles, but I really think that this World War I section is going to be the most popular, or should be the most popular, even if it's not the most popular time period. The combat here is just amazing, man. I cannot give it a higher grade. I really can't. The only thing I would change is to have an ability to get rid of the auto trim on these aircraft. Mind you, there would be no other trim. World War I aircraft did not have set trim that you could put to help you control the aircraft, but there are specific characteristics of these aircraft, which I was able to discover during the Great War event, that actually helps with certain aspects of the plane. Like, for example, the Fokker D7, it can't really turn left at slower speeds because that inline engine has so much torque, but it can outturn the SPAD only in a right-hand turn when you're spiraling down. It's something like that, where I think the SPAD is almost always going to have the advantage in Aces of Thunder when it comes to strictly a turning fight at a slower speed, when the Fokker D7 is going to perform a little bit better at a higher speed, and that's just the niche that it fits into. But with those characteristics that you get from the engine torque and stuff that the auto trim takes care of for you in Aces of Thunder, you can actually exploit those specific net negatives and turn them into a positive, and that's called skill. So like that, it just makes a wider skill gap when you understand the aircraft, and I really think that's what the goal that I would like to see for Aces of Thunder moving forward is to be, right? I want the skill of the individual aircraft to perform well when the pilot understands those characteristics. So that's my only concern so far, is just the auto trim. I would just like the ability to turn it off. Mind you, I was flying in VR controls. It probably would have been a pain to fight it the entire time, but if I'm using my HOTAS, which I probably will when I normally fly the game when it actually releases, I would like to be able to have the ability to turn it off. With the VR controls, auto trim is amazing. When I say VR controls, I mean hand on stick inside of the cockpit. I figured that's what I use, since that's what the selling point of the game is. And it does work really well. I'm just somebody who really tries to eke out everything from the aircraft that I fly, and when I have something that's sort of taking away my ability to understand the actual flight model of the plane, I want that barrier removed, just personally. But from a general player perspective, especially if you're just normally like a VR user, not a flight sim guy, then I totally understand why it's there. But the combat, okay, has so much potential. It has so much potential. The only thing that I wish... Actually, there's 3 things that I wish we had for World War I, and it's slightly more maps. We only have 1 so far. A little bit more aircraft. We only have 4, which is fine. But definitely for especially the German aircraft, I want some more camos. I think having a flying circus, or I don't know, this is stupid, but like a Snoopy bobblehead or something that you can put inside of your RAF aircraft. They're not RAF, but you know what I mean. Entente forces, Allied forces. I think that'd be kind of fun. Although I'm sure that's licensed, so it's probably not possible, but I hope you get the general idea. World War I dogfights were really the wild frontier. And I'm not trying to overshadow the fact that they're difficult, like they're hard. Pretty sure the estimated lifespan for a World War I pilot in combat was like 14 minutes. Maybe it was 14 hours, but I'm pretty sure for a while it was really low, and that's because it's difficult. Now, it's going to be slightly easier in Aces of Thunder for many reasons. The fact that you don't actually die when you die, but the pilot can't get sniped. Everything that I've seen so far is the pilot does not get killed, so the only way that you destroy the aircraft is through the engine going down, and I haven't really been on the receiving end of that too much, so I don't know if it would be a good implementation to make it so you can kill the pilot. All I know is that as the aggressor, when I'm shooting at a World War I aircraft, I am in fact aiming for the pilot, since that is the weakest part of the plane, right? He's fully exposed. If I hit the engine, it's gonna bleed, and it's gonna take a little while, unless I'm using an incendiary belt, which I would highly recommend. Mind you, all the aircraft are canvas, so if you hit them with a little bit of incendiary, they're gonna burst into flames. I'm aiming for the pilot. The pilot is like invulnerable or something, and I just would like that changed. But when it comes to a game that is strictly VR like this, lowering the speeds, closing down the fights, making it so that you have to move your head to be able to see aircraft when you're trying to pull them into the HUD, not the HUD, but into your gun sights, because you have these massive wings above you and to your side. Like, that is where this VR experience is amazing. Mind you, the World War II stuff is cool too. Maybe it's a little overplayed, maybe I think the competition is a little high and the gameplay isn't all there, but World War I is really, really, really good, okay? I am so excited for it. And my statement about waiting to come back to work to play Aces of Thunder for the World War I experience that I have in the beta, even when it's just against AI, is still true, and this is like a week later. And I'm definitely not saying to like abandon the World War II stuff or don't do jets in the future, but what I am saying is that if I were to recommend something to a developer, I would say lean in heavy into World War I. Lean in heavy. This is where it's at. I promise you, this is, from a gameplay perspective, so enjoyable, bro. Like, you guys have a formula right here. It's all there. It's all there. The gameplay is fantastico. If you guys want to hear some of my thoughts, especially when it comes to things like including bombers or including the Zeppelins and stuff, you can check out this video right here from where I talked about my experience in the War Thunder Great War event. Those aircraft didn't have the auto trim. We were fighting Zeppelins a lot of the time. You had to really account for some of the ground forces and stuff. So it was a little bit more complicated, but you can go over there and listen to those thoughts if you're just interested in the gameplay of that Great War event. I also cut 2 hours of pure dogfighting and attacks against bombers from my 24 hours that I did flying in VR in that Great War event. So you can check out that whole video right here. There's no commentary on it. It's just footage. And guys, if you like this and if you're interested in Aces of Thunder that's coming up, please subscribe. If you're still here and you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. I really think this has so much potential, and I want people to be louder about how cool this is. I cannot wait until you guys get hands-on with this game. I really can't. I think you're gonna have a lot of fun, especially if you're more of a VR person, or if you're a flight sim guy and you don't care that you can have a little bit more of a casual experience every once in a while, because that's what Aces is gonna be, right? You just have to swallow the pill that it's not going to be the hard, realistic gameplay. But at the same time, we have alternatives. So if you like those, kind of go play those. This game's trying to carve out its own niche in here, and it has to account for people who don't have the highest end of PCs, because it also has to be playable on a PlayStation 5, which, I mean, it's a pretty powerful console, but it's not a 5090 where you're running 120 FPS in full VR, right? Or you need a whole rig to run something like DCS. Anyways, I'll get off that horse. Thank y'all for watching. I really appreciate you guys sticking through this coverage. If you guys are more of a War Thunder player, I'm sorry I've been spamming this stuff, but I did make a promise and I'm keeping it, and you guys are watching that right now. So thank y'all. I've been talking for a while. Adios.